is the Executive Director of SAV, a non-profit organization dedicated to aid incoming refugees and immigrants settling in the Greater Toronto Area. Prior to SAV, he traveled to Syrian refugee camps in Jordan and Turkey, volunteering his time to provide support to those who had fled their war-torn country. He has also translated for news outlets and raised awareness about the conditions of refugees, and actively blogs to provide a platform for the vulnerable to voice their narratives and experiences. Maclean's magazine gave Sam Jisri the wonderful opportunity to film his daily volunteer work in detail, and for his work he received an honor from Coast Immigration. Later that same year, SAV was accredited by the Governor General of Canada. Please, let's join hands to welcome Sam Jisri.
Thank you very much. It is an honor for me to be here in front of all of you. I really thank MCIS for having me here tonight. I want to start by telling them that we have been there. We have been in the hotels, about 12 hotels, working, about 700 volunteers all across GTA. We have translated to thousands and thousands of newcomers. It has been a very hard journey, but it's been also very rewarding. So I'm going to start by a little story that happened with me about 5 years ago in the Turkish camp. I went to the Turkish camp in 2011, late 2012, 2013. I was volunteering my time in there, trying to help the UN and other agencies such as IFAD and IHA in Turkey. One time, what touched me is a little story that I have on my blog. A little child, about 6, 7 years old, walked to me while I'm walking and working in the camp. He had a little picture, a little photo in his hand. I did not know what he had in his hand until later. He walked to me, he was running, and he said, "Uncle, uncle." That's what we say in Syria. And then he asked me, "Can you make me a photocopy of this?" I looked at the picture and I said, "What is this?" He said, "That's a photo of me." I said, "What do you want a copy of it for?" And he said, "My little sister went to God. She went to visit God." What he meant in that moment, that she died. And I went, and my mom is in the hospital, and my dad said that she's going to see God too. So I went to send my picture on my birthday to my little sister so she could have it as a gift. That moment I'll never forget. That moment is what started me. 5 years ago, I did not stop. From refugee camp to refugee camp, until I had to come back to Canada and come back to my work because I do have 4 children of my own. When I heard about, I'll leave that story right now, it's on my blog, you could read it completely. When I come back to Canada, I did not stop. I tried to work here in Canada as a volunteer. It was an awesome, amazing news for me when I heard that the government will bring 25,000 refugees. I started by social media, trying to collect members of other groups, volunteers to work with us. It was very hard. Lots of people didn't believe they are coming. So I collect people and people jump off the bus, and then I don't have volunteers. One day, I created WhatsApp groups and I created Facebook, social medias, all kinds of things that I need for volunteers to contact and to be with volunteers. One night, December 2015, we received a call. I had a 1-800 number set up. I had flyers printed in every mosque, church, almost around town, hotels, telling them if Syrian refugees come, we are here for them. That night we got a call and they said, "You have what you've been waiting for." I said, what you talking about? They said, we have the Syrian refugees. And that was at the famous Plaza Hotel. Everybody remember in the news that Plaza Hotel with 200 people on the first night. I called whoever I could call. There was 5 of us who went to the hotel. It was a kiosk, 200 people in there in the lobby. They needed a lot of help. There wasn't enough translators and interpreters in that time. And this is where I say I really feel this organization, and I really adore them, and I really adore them, and God award them for what they do. That night, we slept on the couches in the hotel trying to help the people. I come back home and I couldn't sleep that night. I was like, that's it. This is serious war. It has started. I went on social media with pictures and I told people who jumped off the bus, we are here. There is 200 refugees. The government started the initiative that they wanted to start. To cut the story short, we have started with nothing. Right now we sit at 40 sponsors at a warehouse of 3,000 square feet. We have did events in the hundreds. We have over 1,200 volunteers Canada-wide. We have translated to about 6,000 refugees. We have transported more than 10,000 people over time in the hotel for prescription and for hospitalization, for different things. We have found homes for 300 refugees when we are working closely with Costi, with Mr. Mario Callas. Right now we have a warehouse. We have given more than 40,000 pieces of clothes in that warehouse. Every week, every single week, for 13 months. We have volunteers in that warehouse. It doesn't say it is cold, it is snowy outside. They come to the warehouse, tons of them, and they give away, and they work very hard from their heart because they wanted to do it. So this is SAF Syria. That's what we have been doing. I'm quite sure there is a lot of organizations like us. As a matter of fact, we are connected to 121 organizations across Canada that if we cannot help someone in Montreal, we direct them to the organizations in Montreal. If we can't help someone in Vancouver, we do have a person named Sam Namura with another organization in Vancouver who help them. The same thing with Windsor, Kitchener, everywhere. I want to talk, this is SAF Syria right now, and SAF Syria is moving into a new building in Mississauga with 12 offices, and that's all non-profit, that's all from humanity to humanity with sponsors. We're going to be opening computer classes for free, and we're going to be opening English classes for free in Mississauga. I wanted to end up with a story that's very important to me. What's a refugee? A refugee on the UN website and the CIC website, a refugee is a person who needs support and who is targeted either by governments, religion, and so on. It doesn't mention nothing about a refugee being poor or have no money or had a very poor childhood. And from there, I'm going to go to a story about a little child named Ahmed. The name of the child been changed. So Ahmed was in Jordan. Ahmed was, before he goes to Jordan, sorry, Ahmed was in Syria and he was from Damascus. He had a nice life. His dad was an engineer, they had money coming, and they had a wonderful life. Ahmed had clothes, Nike, Adidas, all kinds of names. His sisters and brothers had everything also. So they had the life that anybody had around the world. When the bombing started in Syria, Damascus wasn't under attack yet in the beginning, or it wasn't in war. So Ahmed had his life normally, and one day the bombing started in their area. The father seen their neighbor home bombed. So he grabbed whatever he can with his family and they went away. That night, the father grabbed his iPhone. They grabbed their watches, their perfumes, their Nike shoes and clothes, their They even had Versace. That's what I have seen. So they had name brands with them. And they ran away. The way to Lebanon or to Jordan that time, it used to be a day. It took them 7 to 10 days to arrive to Jordan. After they arrived to Jordan, while they are on the way, his little brother died. They were bombed, they survived the bombing, and the little child died. They survived, and then one day they had a call from the UN, and they were moved to Canada. To cut the story short, they were welcomed in Canada, and they were in a hotel. Ahmed was wearing his name brand t-shirt, and the dad was holding his cell phone. And then one of the volunteers looked at them and said, how come they are refugees, and they have name brands, and they have a cell phone, an Apple cell phone? And in that moment, the father's eyes teared, and he said, me being a refugee doesn't mean I'm not human. It doesn't mean I didn't have a life. So this story leaves us with every refugee has dignity, have been there, and they had a life just like us. We cannot judge them. We cannot, bring them down, and we cannot look at them any less than us. So this is my story working with South Syria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sam, Jisri, and South Syria. Thank you so much. Shukran.